part of what I'm going to do as a coach for Mark is to ask him very pointed questions. What, how, who, where, and when. And that statement before about sometimes I already kind of know the answer, but I need to make sure that I'm asking the right question at the right time to Mark so that he can not only more clearly state what he wants to do, but that the goals are, precise, and then we're able to help measure how we're going to get to those goals. Let's take a look. One of the things anecdotally, and there's not necessarily science or research to back this up, but one of the things that I found is I'm trying to not ask why questions too much. So I'll give you an example. I may have, during that 6 o'clock phone call every Thursday when my employee calls me, and she'll say, Pierre, this thing happened and this is what I did. And oftentimes I would start with, well, why did you do that? And I would find that she would kind of close up a little bit and I got less responding. And now I'm noticing if I say, well, how did that work out? Or what did you do because or whatever, I find that people are a lot more open to give me suggestions, or they're a lot more honest. Doesn't mean every single time, it doesn't mean you can't ask why questions, but I found as when people are coming to me with situations, as I ask why, there's just like, I guess, this sense of, feeling nervous, or, they're kind of putting me on the spot. So no science behind that, but just something I found in my practice. So let's take a look at some sample specific what questions that I've asked Mark in our coaching sessions to help figure out specific goals for him and how we're going to measure them. So this is one of Mark's YouTube videos he's making for parents to kind of keep people engaged. And my first question to Mark when he came to me and he wanted to talk about coaching was, I asked Mark, what's the final outcome? And why would I ask Mark that question? What's the purpose of me asking Mark what the final outcome of this project's going to be? Lauren?
So you can set smaller goals along the way.
Absolutely, right? So there's, I think Stephen Covey has a quote that says, begin with the end in mind. And for me, I have an idea of what I think this wants to look like. Mark may or may not, but by me asking him, what is your final outcome with this project you want to do? He has to sit back and start to think, well, what is my final outcome? Do I want to have a big gym, a small gym? Or for somebody who's come to you, or maybe when you've gone to somebody for coaching, maybe you haven't thought about the entire project yet. This has Mark thinking about, okay, well, what do I want this to look like in 2019? And then we can work our way back and start to actually goal set and say, by May 1st, we need this. By July 1, we need this. By August of 2018, I'll need this thing for the gym to open. I also asked him, well, Mark, what needs to happen for this to actually happen? And why might I ask Mark that question? What needs to happen for him to achieve this goal? Yes, Bernie.
Those resources, like what type of resources?
Absolutely. What kind of resources is he going to need? So, it sounds simple, like I want to start a fitness program, but as we actually sat there, the list became pretty long of all the different barriers or challenges we were going to have to overcome. Consents, renting out space, the different disabilities we're going to have to be working with, transportation, how is he going to have to alter his work schedule? These are all the types of things I don't want to have to tell Mark. I want Mark to be thinking himself, and as I'm asking him these questions, he's either like, whoa, I haven't given this enough thought, I've got to go home and do some more thinking. But more importantly, he's coming to me at my next meeting having said, okay, Pierre, I gave this some more thought. What do you think? And now maybe I'm slipping from my coaching mode back into consultant mode. Well, I would do this, or I've seen other people do this. Does that make sense? Great. A couple other questions from Mark is, well, what have you done so far? And that may just, maybe he's done nothing, maybe he's done a lot, but that kind of gives me an indication of how much work he's put into this idea. And then I may ask him, what's the biggest challenge? Any questions on those questions right now?